So Ed, one of the partners, is actually the originator of the idea, and he'd been working out in the oil fields for several years, and in heavy construction, and they'd been dealing with wood mats. Prior to him going there, he worked for Heatmore as a welder, and so he was familiar with working with steel, and he came to us and he said, we work with these wooden mats. They're not dependable. They wear out fast, and I think we should try to build a steel mat, and it would look something like this. And then we started doing a few iterations of that design, and ended up with the design we have now today. It's foam filled, provides two purposes. Number one, gives them flotation. They wouldn't sink in water. Number two, it keeps water out. You don't want them to fill with water and get extremely heavy. One of the downfalls of the wood mats is once they've been in use and they get saturated with water, they get very heavy. And so it's a lot more economical from the logistics side. They're easier to handle. Another one of the downfalls of the wood mats that Ed said, just bothers us a lot, it's a safety issue, is the hook holes. They have a gap on each end of the timber mat where they're able to reach in with their hooks to hook the mat for maneuvering them. Well, ours are solid. There are no holes. There's D-rings on the end for handling. And so when you're done, you have a solid construction, no trip hazards, no areas for wheels to fall in and get damaged from anything you're traveling on the mats with. It's going to last at least 10 times longer than a wood mat. So if your wood mats, last you today, say 5 uses, well, ours are going to last you 50 uses. And when you're done, you still have something that's recyclable, right? They're made of steel. The steel's recyclable. With the wood ones, when they're done, you have a pile of garbage. So ours, I think the applications are all the way from, power companies who are, putting up the big power lines through, hard to traverse areas, oil fields, pipelines, all of those types of applications are a perfect fit for our mat. There's a couple of things that, number one, your payback is great. If you're using them and you're going to buy them instead of buying wood, or if you've traditionally been leasing mats, to buy these is a good investment because, after the first few uses, they'll have paid for themselves in comparison to leasing. And now it's all money in your pocket because they're going to last way, way, way longer. Another key point with these, especially if you end up getting into, like Minnesota, for example, is the key area with all the invasive species as you get into some of the wetland type areas. So if you're doing construction work through that, our mats are much more friendly to being in those environments. You can get all done, you can pressure wash them, clean them, dry them, and they don't have water cavities. And so now, instead of like wood mats, you can only use them once in an invasive species environment, and now you can't reuse them. Ours can be washed, no different than somebody having to wash and clean their boat, really, right? And then use them again. And so the cost of ownership, initial cost of ownership is higher, but over the life, it is huge, huge savings.